The People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism (PDOIS) on Friday held a press conference on the upcoming local government elections. The presser was graced by some of the party's national executive members and supporters. Honorable Halifa Sallah, the Secretary General and party leader, believes there is a need for local government reforms.
When you separate mayoral election, chairperson election with the other council elections, the councils will continue to exist. The law is yet to be fully clear as to its dissolution after the Supreme Court decision. And we are holding these two elections at different times. It is the governors who should indicate the first meeting of the council after elections, and the chief executive officer for the municipalities and the city council. So essentially, after the council elections, the mayoral chairperson election will take place in May. What do you do during that interim? And this is why it is important for a state to be led in a manner that has clarity. Because when you talk about the rule of law, the law should lead. But the law should be clear, and it should be vocal, it should be prescribed, it should be codified. So there is definitely need for local government reform. And you should cast your mind at 2016, when the change occurred. The purpose of the change was to have a transition where within 3 years we'll engage the population, engage the administration, engage all elements in our society to be able to look at our constitution, our laws, our institutions, our administrative and managerial practices, to make them fit for a new republic, a republic where the conscious Gambian people will be fully in charge.
Honorable Sallah further explains how the central government can work with the councils for the betterment of the country.
It can't give what is called equalization grant. It must examine the councils and look at their earning capacities and provide grant to create some element of a balance. Number two, if it sees that it can give the council certain responsibilities to run what used to be operated by the central government, it can go up to 10% that it gives them for the operation of those institutions. It can go further to engage in granting aid where it works with the council on certain projects and provide funds for those projects to be implemented in a particular council area. But under Section 128 of the Local Government Act, it talks about providing the funds that may be necessary, 25% to supplement the development budget of the councils. So unless the councils sit down and examine their budget and allocate their 60%, quantify it properly, and submit that prior to the budgeting of the government, it means that it will not be able to get the 25% that it needs, because the 25% would have to be allocated by the National Assembly. So essentially, we are talking about councils becoming very efficient in understanding the law and how to implement the law. So all councils should therefore have some form of legal aid where there is specialization on the act and how they can derive maximum benefit from that act. Because the councils will have sources of funding. They are likely to have possibilities of royalties. How do you calculate them? How do you follow them? They are likely to have investments. Where do you invest? How do you generate resources for the councils? So there are many possibilities for the councils to be able to generate the resources.
When asked about his party's stand on the alleged involvement of foreigners in the country's electoral process, the PDOIS leader says there is no political leader who is interested in solving the problem of foreigners voting in the country's election.
Of what you call outsiders interfering with what you call Gambian elections. It's a very complex issue, extremely complex. And your leaders are not interested in solving the problem. From the First Republic, Second Republic, until now. And when I say leaders, I'm putting you, all your political leaders are not interested in solving the problem. It's a blanket statement because we should debate on this issue. We started the debate in the First Republic, and the problem would have been ended a long time ago. Let me give you an example. There should be no country without proper registration of birth and death. In the First Republic, the 1965 Constitution, it stated that the Gambian citizen is one who is born in the Gambia with one of the parents born in the Gambia or naturalized in it. Then it goes further that you can be a Gambian citizen through marriage. And you can also be a Gambian citizen through naturalization. But in that constitution, it also says those people who were born in the Gambia prior to 18 February 1965, of parents who were not born in the Gambia could go and be registered as a Gambian citizen. That was not communicated to those people who lived during that time. Suppose at that time that was communicated, and all those people got registered to be Gambian citizens in 1965. And then their parents naturalized to be Gambian citizens. And you have proper registration of birth and death. How can you have a problem of anybody infiltrating your system of birth and death? But the First Republic failed on that score.
As the Independent Electoral Commission IEC concluded the nomination of candidates for the councillorship elections in April, the PDOIS announced that it has filed 27 councillors across the country. Reporting for Kerr, Fatou, I am Landin Cisse.